So, Mr.
Oh,
Raamayan,
Le Capitan.
I hear miracles are abound.
There are abound. Isn't it incredible?
What happened? Like you were just praying, and all of a sudden a goddess came along and said, "I'll help you out."
Much. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I contacted my friend Anthony. Well, he's actually a dear brother, and I'll share with you a little bit more about him later because we're creating the Creation Academy, and he's he came into our lives. He's the founder, one of the founders of Buzzworthy. He helped create one of the largest online marketing magazines in the world, um, paid advertising and paid traffic specialist, but also a Dharma brother. Like one of those people who are so specialized in their field, who are so good at what they do, who are masters of what they do at marketing, just a eight master,
Wow.
like complete eight master, like eclipses me by a long shot. And he's just become our friend and he's coming along to be a partner in creation in the academy, which is just incredible. And anyway, just in the group when I was saying, oh, I can't meet today because of my dad, he's like, hey, I'm gonna send pujas. I know this amazing institute called the Buddhist Gershon Institute, and they're known for miracles. And I muscle tested it, and I got three different deities that I want to do pujas for Green Tara, for Medicine Buddha, and Mahakala. He paid for it out of his pocket, sent them the money, did it right on the spot, said, this is for your dad, give me your dad's name. He's one of those people who are just like, you know,
On top.
don't think about it. Don't, just let's do it. I'm like, okay, thank you. And of course I asked everybody for prayers and did a Facebook post and it was all nice. But, I sat down, and they wheeled my dad in, like literally the day before he went to get tested and they said, your heart's 98% blocked. You have a 2000 calcium rating in your heart. You're supposed to be below 500. We need to get you in for emergency surgery tomorrow. Like, I was blindsided. I just happened to be here too for a 3-day visa run, and this happens right now, right? And I'm like, interesting timing. And so they wheel him in, and I just asked the doctors if I can sit and meditate outside his room. And so, I find a little cushion and I sit and I go into meditation. And 15 minutes into the meditation, I literally see Green Tara. She merges with my body, I'm sure his body. I see her literally become him, and they have one heart. Her heart becomes green and his heart becomes green, and I see her light shooting to every one of his arteries and ventricles, and I just see a healing take place. And in my mind's eye, I literally have the thought, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and tell me that there's nothing wrong and that they don't need to do surgery on him. I have this thought. And then half an hour, 45 minutes, I don't know, I can't calculate time. The doctor literally opens the door and says, I have good news for you. And I already know what he's going to say. I already know what he's going to say. And he's like, we checked his arteries and we actually couldn't find any blockages. Fucking miracle. Sent him back up. Same night we were out having Chinese food, eating dinner.
What? What? So this is a goddess. Tara is a goddess within the Hindu philosophy.
Within, yes, the Hindu Buddhist philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's known as the great healer. And green Tara, green is the color of the heart chakra,
It's
right?
just
It's the color of the Anahata. So I'm just saying a prayer, and there's so many layers to this, Elijah, because what has been coming through for the last few months, and it's something you know well about me, many other people don't, is that we need the new nation. The new nation needs to arise. Something we've been tracking for a long time. And I finally landed that this is going to be called the Heart Nation. And that the heart meta nation, because the heart is the one symbol that connects all of us across the world and reminds us of love. It's the one symbol we share across the planet. It's and the heart, the field of the heart, is actually a field of reality. It is the heart chakra that we've it's great to talk about going to the crown chakra and gaining enlightenment and all of that. But in reality, what the world really needs is to elevate to the level of the heart. That the initiation for our human species right now is to come into heart coherence, to come into heart alignment, to have heart leaders, to have heart centers around the world. Yes, beautiful. To come into the love zone, to come into the place where we actually are incoherent. And that is the evolutionary step of humanity, not gaining enlightenment. And that is the enlightenment of humanity. I saw it so clearly. And I started writing about the Heart Nation. I did my first presentations in the Heart Nation. We started doing ceremonies in Bali around the Heart Nation, where we brought in Indigenous First Nations elders, Indians, Lakota, different people, nations, tribes. We created a full teepee ceremony to the Heart Nation. We're starting to anchor it in to the grid. And to come here at this time and to see my dad, what he's going on in his heart, such a beautiful person, but it's got so many blockages, and to feel the deity Tara come through into the green frequency of the heart, which you have in your beautiful background. There's just so much meta symbology to me right now in this whole prayer saying you're on the path. This is real. We will heal the heart. All of the fathers, all of the masculine lineage, which has created so much distortion. There's a heart healing that's taking place. So there's so many layers of significance and meaning to me in all this right now. So just, being with it.
Wow. So how did you meet this guy?
I met him in Bali. I met him when he came to, I wonder if he came to the Heart Nation presentation I did, actually, funnily enough, in Bali. And we just connected, and
Wow,
yeah.
like what a wonderful gift or gesture to initiate that.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and just the fact that we're going into a business relationship, to have that as a foundation of
Yeah.
trust and openness, and just to measure someone's real character, means a lot.
So what's going on with creation then?
Good question. Couple of things. So this space of AI is moving so quickly right now. I have never seen space move this fast in my life. There's 5,000 new tools that came out this month. It's a lot. And we thought Web3 was fast. Web3 was like nothing compared to this. Web3 is slow.
5,000 AI tools.
Yeah, this month alone. So we as a team have really taken a seat back and said, rather than being the person rushing to build the next best tool, what is our best usage of our gift, the gift frequency? What is our gift? And when I asked myself, and when we asked ourselves as a team, our gift is not actually being the best technology builders. Our gift is being incredible sense makers. Right? Our gift is being amazing curators. Our gift is being able to see how the pieces work together to be able to serve people. Because if you talk to the average person, most people don't know how these AI tools apply to them in their lives. If you talk to most small businesses, if you talk to entrepreneurs, they're so excited about this. They may be using ChatGPT a bit, but as a whole, they don't know how these tools help them. And there's so much out there, this constant state of overwhelm and the feeling of being left behind. And so what is a creation space here? What we've narrowed in on is that the three things that we can really bring is one, education, and two is curation. And in education and curation, building a really strong audience so that the platform we build really serves a real need amongst existing users who we're serving through education and curation. So what we're starting at is, even though we do have an MVP of our platform creation space, what we're starting out doing is we're creating a curation engine. So we have a process, which I'll show you. We have a map, and I want to show you the map of how we're taking any tool and creating a curation system to see if it really delivers the value it does, who it's for, how it serves, and where it fits within the business process of an entrepreneur, a creator, or a small business owner. So is it an idea stage? Is it when you're scaling? Is it when you're validating and testing? Is it when you're advertising and marketing? Is it when you're, what stage of the process does this tool fit in on? And what processes it is? How good is it? And where do you need to use it? So we have a whole process of how we create media around it, videos around it, articles around it, short form content around it. And the creation space becomes the curation and education hub for the next generation of creators. And the vision is AI is going to help you automate mundane functions in your life that you don't want to do to help you bring your business to reality. So we want to help creators, we want to help small businesses, we want to help entrepreneurs scale, function, and learn how these tools are viable for them. And the Creation Academy, we have 3 levels. One is the intro course, one is the 7-day creator course, the intensive, for how to use these tools, and the other one is going to be the more of the cohorts, where you join a cohort and you go and you work and you learn with other creators and how to best use these tools to optimize your business. And in that, we're going to be then building the platform. So now that we're curating the best tools, now that we're working with people and see how they really work and building real use cases in this fast moving space, we slowly, one by one, take the best tools that we're learning from and we integrate them into our creation space platform to build real utility for our users. So that's our current strategy. And in that, we can generate real revenue from the academy. We can generate real value for users through curation, and we can build our platform in a meaningful way based on real user data. That's our current plan.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It's not having me laugh.
Just laughed.
They're just thinking of our last call. Yes, well, that's fantastic. So is it ready? Like, is it ready to go? Can I be a test case? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, what we want to do is we want to launch our first course on June 16th, and we're building our curation hub right now. We're starting to release daily content on our Instagram and YouTube shorts, doing unboxings of different tools. And right now we're really honing into our media strategy, how to make our media strategy really cool, really interesting, really appealing to our target market. Like I said, we have Anthony, which is incredible because he's one of the top paid marketing consultants in the world. So when it comes to getting our content and our funnels and our academy in front of the right eyeballs, we have the right person. And what I'm really interested in with this academy is not just doing AI tools, is really empowering creators to live their dream. Like what you always talked about, Elijah, is how do you design your ideal job, right? Well, now, rather than just designing your ideal job, you can design your ideal life, right? It's for a lot, what the biggest narrative in AI right now is that it's going to displace jobs. And it is. I mean, you're a copywriter, you're a graphic designer, you're a web designer, builder, you're a freelancer, you're somebody who does executive assistance. I mean, a lot of people are going to be out of work, a lot of people in the service industry. So how do we take those people and say, hey, actually, these tools are creating a democracy where in a day, you can take any idea that you have and validate it in the market and see if you can build a business. You can actually become a creator now. The capacity for you to become an entrepreneur and the lift that it takes for you to be able to do that is so much lower than it ever has been. If you learn these tools and train, you can have agency. You can become the creator. You can be the master of your dream. And that is what I'm really inspired to support people in doing and moving away from this kind of slave worker economy, to a creator economy. And that's creation space.
That's awesome. So the first course is on June 16th.
Yeah, that's when we're launching opening our funnel. We're going to be launching it, and it's called an Intro to Creator course, Become the Master of Your Dream. So it's I can share with you the landing page and the funnel that we're designing and
Sure.
the course and see all that. I'm happy to share that with you.
Sure.
And then I feel like this is going to provide a real window for us to collaborate, me and you as well. I feel like now that we're moving into education and courses, it feels like and now that you've been doing so much work on your convo types, you've been doing so much work on actually drilling down and creating content, this could be the moment where we have a course in the academy and we actually work together and collaborate. So on a real product. I think.
I just got to ask you, last time we were talking, you had did a bit of a strategic switch, and through Veeam, there was another thing that you were going to do.
That's still happening. We're building it.
What is that?
So Veeam is being built right now. We're building a short form video app with Veeam.
Okay.
Right, going back to the roots. And what we're asking with Veeam, it says become the meme. So the idea of Veeam is that we give prompts to people and one prompt a day. And everybody has to basically act out that prompt and become the meme and become the winner and become the meme for any prompt.
Okay.
So we start now engineering humans to be able to act out any prompt. And where that goes from one prompt a day and everybody acts out one prompt, once it starts scaling, it becomes TikTok like, where anybody can post a prompt for anybody else to act out. Anybody can post a debate topic for people to be able to debate. You can choose which ones are the winners based on the way that this can go beyond just a memetics platform can grow a lot, but it starts right there. It starts with something super fun. And we've asked AI to generate the prompts for the humans. So the AI is starting to prompt the
Oh,
humans to
okay.
act. It's kind of like this really cool, fun thing.
Oh, okay. No, that sounds really good. I because I thought you had dropped everything you're doing creation for that, and that's what made me laugh.
That I'm treating Veeam right now as a social experiment. I'm not treating it like a business in the same way.
Uh,
I'm in my mind frame, I'm looking at it like we're social engineering and we're experimenting. It allows me to have fun. And I need to have some fun with this because it's been really heavy and it can be really heavy.
okay, can I actually play you something?
Please.
The thing that I made. Okay, I'm just going to pause. I've never seen that before. How about I just send it to you?
Sure.
Maybe you can play it. Did you want to?
It's not playing on my computer either. Okay, let me see if I can just go to your Facebook page. 1 second.
Was some sort of where all of the people who believed something, who agreed with something, who were unanimous, started to implement it worldwide. You think that's a good idea? To get all the best practices or to get all the best beliefs or to find out what we all agree to. Well, if you think that's a good idea, you got to get in touch with Raamayan because it's his idea. And I'm just bringing attention to it because it's a great idea. They made this little interface for him, and I don't think he did anything with it. So if you think it's a good idea, why don't you tell Raamayan to actually do something about it? Because it's one of the 1,000 other good ideas that are out there that we don't act upon. And so I think sometimes as colleagues or peers or mentors or whoever we are to one another, sometimes we can nudge them and go, you said you were going to do it. I'm calling you on it. Accountability and operations, shared knowledge community.
I love it. I love how it's accountability operations, but you have boldness at advocating.
Sometimes things don't align. Or you got to use both.
Okay, you know what's interesting about that?
What's that?
I've been talking about this, and I remember the first map I made when I met you. Do you remember that? I met you and I was so inspired by you. And then I went with Zamir and my mom and whatever. We went to Tofino and I made this huge, massive map called the Global Values Project map.
I remember that.
I was 15 years ago, and it was the biggest fucking map I ever made. And I was just mapping out how do our global, because I was so inspired by what your understanding of like how our value systems came out. I was like, okay, I need to understand values myself. So I went and I created this massive map when I was like, the whole thing was about the epistemology of values. Where do values arise? And I was like, okay, they arise from our geography and how we relate to our environment and what our climate actually is, which dictates our culture, and then the access to food and resources and water dictate our values in relationship to the elements, and then how our cultures form. And then I look basically at the epistemology of values, and I created a map. And my vision back then was to be like, what if we created a global values project where we actually looked at the spectrum of our world's values and created a system where we could actually understand it. And by doing so, we would move beyond the left-right binaries of political parties into value spectrums. And that's why I was always, and I have been always so passionate about value spectrums, you know. And I was like, nah, it's too big for me. There's no way I would know how to do that. And just yesterday, I was like, let me ask ChatGPT, how I could execute this vision. And I got this, and I plan to send this to you. So it's so interesting that you put this video at this moment in this time. Um, so I'm going to just share this with you here.
I think it's funny they say you don't know how to do it when I had created a way to do values.
I mean, actually execute the project like on a technological level is what I meant. Sending this to you. The link. Do you have WhatsApp by any chance?
No, I don't have a phone. I'm one of the 6 people on the planet without a phone.
What happened to your phone? You in technology, eh?
Well, I got to tell you, man, I feel so much better when I don't have the phone like that around. There's something in
Honestly,
those phones that aren't good
I'm
for
hating.
people.
I really don't like my phone. I'm finding that my phone is actually the biggest cause of my mental concerns and my mental issues right now. Like when I don't have a phone, I'm so much happier.
Yeah,
I really am not liking my phone either. Like I think it's a curse a lot of the times.
use it. I use it the tablet, right? And it just,
Hmm.
I think there's a different frequency between the wireless and the whatever is, the phone wireless.
Yeah. Do you have Telegram?
No, because I don't have a phone.
You can get it on your tablet, but yeah.
You need a number.
Do you? And I don't think so on Telegram.
Yeah, you need a phone number. You heard of the Rokiak Value Survey?
No.
It's when I was doing my values research, it was the most popular methodology to ascertain values in a hierarchy. There'd be like 18 instrumental values and 18 terminal values. Sort of like what are the values to get you there and what are the values you're aiming at.
Yeah.
And he listed 18 in each one. And then you just basically put them in a hierarchy. So you see where they are in relationship to one another.
Yeah.
So that was the only way that I really saw that was decent, that had a lot of research already. I think the way that I do it is good, but it doesn't really, it's a much different methodology, by putting values in a circle.
Yeah. Can you send me that?
But
The name or
the Rokic values, yeah,
yeah, or just send the name so I can plug it into GPT as well and start sense making this through GPT.
okay.
Yeah. Because I think you're right. I didn't think about this being a unanimous project, but you're right, it is. So that was interesting.
Well, if we could all agree on universal value, I mean, it'd be interesting to do it, within the inflow and then have like an education, right? What's the highest valued education?
Yeah.
At economic, like just take each one of the words and create a methodology for people to choose a value. That's also another way of doing it.
Yeah. And if you read what I wrote, I was like, hey, how do we understand value spectrums in a meaningful way and how do we map it? And they created a really cool methodology of using a spider map to overlay values on top of each other, which I
Mm,
found really cool so that you could actually see the spectrum. I'm like, how do we understand when honesty means something to somebody or something to another? Honor means something very different to a Japanese than it means to somebody in the US. Like
very true.
we have the name of these values, but actually we also have language barriers because how each cultural languages their values are very different.
Yeah,
um, and they'll use specific words that actually mean something different. So English kind of creates a substratum, but each culture has a different representation in their own language, which can convey sometimes more complexity of the meaning of those values. And so there's actually a lot of complexity to this. And I'm looking at like, okay, this is really cool that you sent me this value survey. And I feel like doing a bunch of research into the epistemology of values and language representations. And this is where AI can really help right now, right?
for
Because
sure.
it can and extrapolate those things really easily. It can say, okay, what is a word for honor in 180 languages? And, you know, if we use AI correctly, we can really create something that is really meaningful. And I think this project is a very meaningful project. I really do. I feel like this project is the only way that I can see of how we get beyond the left-right political binaries. If we start to see imagine if this becomes an AI attachment to every news. So anytime you see a news article, it actually runs that entire news article through AI, runs it through the value system, and gives you a spit back of the actual value system of that article, rather than this is Democrat or Republican. So you stop seeing in binaries, and you can actually start to see all information according to these value spectrums, that humans now are inputting their value systems, which adjusts the macro spectrum. And now AI is starting to be trained on human values in a meaningful way.
I think the only way that we're going to last with AI is if we come up with an ethical relationship with AI, because
Exactly.
without it, you know, all the worst case scenarios come through, right?
It does. And this is where, again, your work, it really always comes down to value systems.
Yeah.
We have to be able to understand what our value systems are so that AI can understand our value systems. And
Yeah.
we can't just have a word and have a bunch of meaning with it. We need to be creating sophisticated spectrums, because the world is a different place. And, you know, one thing that this guy, I'm going to send you this video, actually. Let me send it to you right now. I really recommend you watch this video.
Okay.
It's from the founder of Stability Diffusion. And he speaks really well on where the world is going with AI as well. Where is it?
5,000 programs in a month. And I'll bet you about 4,000 of them were from India, right?
I actually need to go to the bathroom. Give me a second.
Okay.